Assalamu alaikum, my name is Kainat Naveed and today I am going to give a presentation on self-concept along with my group. What is self-concept and what are the development of self-concept and what are stages of self-concept? We're gonna discuss all of these in a bit and my group members are Muhammad Jazib, Mahnur Ahmed, Malik Shamir, Aliza Naim and Fatima Faisal.
Assalamu alaikum, my name is Aliza Naim and my ID is 34295. The topic which I have to introduce is factors affecting self-concept. The first factor affecting self-concept is altered health status. An alteration in mental status refers to general changes in function such as confusion, memory loss, disorientation, and defects in judgment or thought. The second factor is experience. Self-concept changes with age as the individual passes through the life stages and experiences a range of life changes. The third factor is development. Development of self-concept in young children defines and differentiates the various dimensions of self-concept. Problems associated with measuring self-concept comments on the relationship between cognitive development and self-concept. Number 4 is external and internal factors. Internal factors include knowledge and external factors include social support that are instrumental in understanding behavior. Awareness and knowledge are important preconditions for self-directed change. And the last one is history of success and failure crisis or life stress life stress, power, nursing, illness or trauma. Success and failure may influence mood, affect, and emotional states. Individuals with lower self-esteem are less confident about their capabilities and are thus more easily influenced by others' judgment. Going through very stressful or distressing events and sometimes called trauma. Some effects of trauma are flashbacks, panic attacks, sleep problems, low self-esteem, self-harm, and suicidal feelings. It affects on our self-confidence and self-image. Thank you.
Self-concept is basically all about how we see and feel about ourselves. Self-concept, is strictly defined, is the totality of our beliefs, preference, opinions, and attitude organized in a symmetric manner toward our personal existence. Simply put, it is how we think of ourselves and how we should think, behave, and act in our various parts of life. Self-concept is very important because it influences how we think, feel, and act in our organizational life. The self-concept is, of course, only one of the main factors of our life.
I'm Muhammad Jazib 34203 and today I'm introducing you self-understanding concept. Self-understanding simply means to understand our feelings, our thoughts, our negatives, our positives, and the list goes on. In order to solve our problem, some people have this type of sense from their parents, but if someone doesn't have it, does not mean that it can't be developed. As every skill can be learned, this one skill can also be learned by time. It's just a matter of time to be good at it. Introverts have more sense of self-understanding than extroverts because they are more of thinkers than talkers. So here are some components of self-concept. Self-esteem, number 2, body image, number 3, personal identity, number 4, role performance.
Components of self-concept. There are basically 3 components of self-concept is self-image, ideal self, and self-esteem. The components of self-concept are and the role and performance. Personal identity is the sense of worth set a person apart from others. It may include the person name, gender, ethnicity, family status, occupation, and roles and its beliefs. Stages in development of self-concept. Self-concept develop in 3 stages according to the time and the age of the person. The first stage is marked by the development of one basic self-concept. In the second stage, able individual experiment and try out new classes, experience and job. Stage 3 sees individuals establishing their careers and building their skills, likely starting in an entry level. Self recognition 18 months, self definition 3 years, and self concept 6 to 7 years.
My name is Fatma Faisal and my registration number is 34310. The two factors of self-concept given to me are incongruence and congruence. Congruence is when your self-understanding and self-image aligns with the reality, but incongruence is when your self-image and self-understanding do not match with the reality. The biggest problem of incongruence in today's generation is caused by social media, as we tend to get inspired by social media influencers and their high-end life, which we know is far away from the reality. One should learn to love himself for who he is, and if he's not a good person, he should always try to become a positive and a better person. Self-love, defined as love of self or regard for one's own happiness or advantage, has been conceptualized both as a basic human necessity and as a moral flaw. People tend to do people pleasing, in which they lose themselves, their self esteem, and their self respect. People pleasing is a losing battle. When you focus on self love and self compassion rather than trying to get others to love you, you build your own self esteem and break codependent patterns so you can form healthier, happier relationships with yourself and others. Similarly, when one starts loving himself, he starts seeing the positive side of the world. Rather than focusing on the bad habits, he starts seeing good qualities in others. Here are 6 reasons why one should love himself. Self-criticism is not an effective way to motivate yourself. It always backfires. Loving and accepting yourself is the most effective way to create long-term change in your life. Loving yourself allows you to make peace with the past. Loving yourself gives others permission to love themselves. Loving yourself frees you from worrying about what others think of you. Loving yourself allows you to love others deeper.
Hi, my name is Malik Shamir. I want to explain the formation of self-concept. The self-concept is an image an individual has of themselves. It is formed by a conceptualization process which requires experiences for information. Much of the psychological development of a person is bound up with the emerging sense of self. But in spite of its importance, the phenomenon of the self is one of the most difficult to explain. Physical ability could be said to be the cruel to the way an individual becomes conscious of and develop a unique separate identity. It facilitates conceptualization by receiving stimuli, interpreting information, and enable response. It is also of paramount importance in the area of general mobility, maintaining body function, and enhancing the whole learning process of social interaction. Therefore, because the physical concept is such an important factor in the development of the individual, it could be argued that physical handicap probably affect self-concept formation most profoundly. This paper outlines relevant theory of self-concept and discussed the relation between self-esteem and body image. Thank you.
Importance of self-concept. Self-concept is very important in our life. A person's self-concept affects his way of relating with others. A strong self-concept is necessary for healthy and satisfy interaction and satisfy life. A weak self-concept, on the other hand, often distort the individual participant of how others see and generate feeling of insecurity in relating to other people. So self concept is very important for a person to live his life with peace and dignity.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Mahmood Ahmed, 34416, and I'm going to discuss development of self-concept and how can we develop self-concept. Self-concept can be developed by time to time. It develops according to our way of thinking and how we grow up, in which behavior we live. But we can develop self-concept to know ourselves by knowing what we like, what we want. It depends to an extent to an individual's development level. Development of self-concept. Self-concept evolves throughout life and depends to an extent on an individual's development level.